Hey, it's Russ from Pilates Guy. I'm just going to take you through a little end of day stretching routine. This will be particularly good for you if you're sat down a lot, but equally it will actually be very good for you if you're doing quite heavy work, moving around a lot, or if you're a sports person. So it's good all-round end of day stretching routine just to undo some of the impact of the day on the body. So let's get ourselves set up first of all on the edge of the mat. So we're going to stand tall in our good posture, good alignment through the spine, core nice and strong. We're going to start with roll downs, just giving the spine some space, the disc some space, and stretch through the back and the backs of the legs. So the core switched on to 30%. We're nice and tall. Deep breath in through your nose, and you breathe out as you drop your chin to your chest. Just letting the head hang. Then we're going to let those shoulder blades separate, the arms slide forward, and we're into our roll down. We want to think about peeling the spine over forward. So keep your core engaged. Try and keep your tailbone ever so slightly tucked on the way down. You can let your hands run along the legs if you want, or just let them hang, let the head hang, and just work your way down to your maximum. That might be hands on shins, it might be hands just hanging, or you might bring your hands to the floor. Ideally, you want the weight to stay in the front of the feet. At the bottom, we'll take 2 or 3 nice deep breaths, and we're just going to stretch a little more each time, just letting the head and the arms hang. And then after those 2 or 3, we're going to push ourselves back up. Push through the front of your feet, legs are straight, knees are soft, core squeezing. When your hands get to your knees, tuck your tailbone under, and I want you to think about unwinding your spine. Rebuild, restack, uncurl your spine. Roll your shoulders at the top, lengthen through the top of your head. Nice deep breath in, and we breathe out as we roll back down, chin to chest. Let the head hang, shoulder blades slide forward. Let that weight start to peel you over towards the floor. Aim ahead of your feet, legs straight, knees soft, core strong, tailbone slightly tucked on the way down. You should feel a bit more of a stretch through that lower back, easing into your maximum stretch. Couple of nice deep breaths, just stretching a little more each time. 2 or 3 breaths. And then we push through the front of the feet, coming back up. Must have a strong core all the way up, all the way down, and whilst we're kind of in the stretch. When the hands get to the knees, a little tuck. And then we restack, rebuild, uncurl the spine. So we're stretching, giving the discs some space. We can lose up to 1 centimetre during the day through compression of the discs and dehydration. Big breath in. Breathe out, start to roll down. So this is a good one to do at the end of the day. Maybe you'll stretch through and get a little bit of that height back. I can't promise it'll keep making you taller, but it will just decompress a little bit. So keep the core strong, legs straight, knees soft. We should get that stretch in the back when we're tucking the tailbone, and then after a certain point that stretch comes all the way down the backs of the legs. 3 nice deep breaths at the bottom here. And we're going to bend the knees, and we're going to bring ourselves down to our 4-point kneel-in position. So from here we're going to go into our cat-cow stretch. We want knees directly under hips, hands directly under shoulders, shoulders backing down. We want a nice neutral spine, okay? So we don't want to be arching here or rounding. We will do that, but not just yet. We want to start from neutral. We want a core engagement as well, belly button and pelvic muscles lifted. We're going to breathe into our back. So I want you to think about breathing into your back, roughly where my logo is on the back of my vest. So nice deep breath in. And then we go the opposite way, breathing out to cow. We're going to do 5 more of those. We breathe in. We breathe out. We breathe into cat, pulling your mid back up towards the ceiling, tuck your tailbone, let your head just drop, and then breathe out to cow, letting your head come up, sticking out your tailbone, almost dropping into your shoulders a bit. Breathing in, breathing out. There's 3, so 3 more. Mobilising that whole spine, stretching the back in various points. Great for the back, good for back pain, helps me a lot. Good warm up, good for end of the day. And once we've done those 6, we're going to push back to a child's pose. So I want you to bring your toes together, knees wide-ish, and push your bum back towards your heels. Reach your arms forward. I just want you to relax into child's pose stretch for 6 deep breaths. And each out breath, just try and relax into it a bit more. Really lengthen the arms, push your bum back towards your heels. 1 more breath. And we're going to come out of child's pose. Now we're going to go into pigeon. I'm going to give you a few options here because this can be a bit challenging. I'm going to start by bringing from 4 points. I'm going to bring my right knee between my hands with my foot out. And what I'm going to do is just lengthen my left leg backwards. If you've done the other side, just reverse on the other side. Push that leg backwards until you feel a stretch start around the back of that hip, stretching this leg underneath. The foot we don't want coming too close underneath, so we do want it out a little bit. The further the better, within reason, without any pain. You can stay here and just sink your hips slowly into this, keeping the chest, shoulders back and down, neck nice and long. Now, if you're quite mobile, you could bring those elbows down onto the floor and just keep breathing into this. So it's 6 breaths that we're after. Nice deep breaths. Every out breath, just trying to relax a bit more. You can try and push that leg back a bit more as you relax down. You can bring your head down onto your hands and just, as I say, 6 really nice, slow, deep breaths, relaxing more each time. And then we're going to bring ourselves back up. Tuck the toes on that back leg, bring this leg back, let your knees come down. We're going to go back to child's pose, 6 deep breaths. In child's pose, just breathe, lengthen, fingertips forward, your bum's going back towards heels, and breathe as you stretch. And there's 6, we're going to bring it back to 4 points, and this time we're going to take the left knee forward. So we're going to bring that left knee in between the hands, set the same as the other side, walk the right foot backwards, just lengthen that leg back behind you until you feel that stretch start around the glute, around that hip. You can stay up on those arms, just keep the shoulders back and down, chin tucked, and just breathe. 6 deep breaths, relaxing into this more each time, walking that leg back a bit more if you can each time. Options are to elbows, and you just relax into it, or you bring your head down onto those hands and just really breathe and relax into this. This is great for the end of the day, just to loosen up around the glutes and the back. And once you've done those 6 deep breaths, bring yourself back up to kneeling, and we're going to bring ourselves for a hip flexor stretch. Really important if you've been sat down. We're going to step one leg forward, so we've got 90 degrees in each leg. Now, a lot of people think when we stretch hip flexors that you've got to go all the way here. You don't if you tuck your tailbone a little bit. So we tall, roll your shoulders, make yourself nice tall, put your hands on your hips, and just start off by tucking your tailbone under. And by tucking the tailbone under, you should find that stretch start straight away. It certainly does for me. We're then going to squeeze the glutes and just gently ease forward into that stretch until you feel it intensify. But keep tucking your tailbone and keep that glute engaged as well. And just breathe into this. We'll do about 4 deep breaths as you relax forwards into that hip flexor stretch. And then I want you to release, and we're going to straighten that front leg to the heel, so the toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. You can either put your hands on your hips, stay tall, and just hinge forwards until you feel a stretch down the back of the leg. Okay, this is enough, this I can feel. But if you want to go deeper into this stretch, bring your hands to the floor. 4 nice deep breaths, okay? 4 nice deep breaths stretching here. If you want to intensify, you push your bum back a little bit, and that will intensify that stretch, keeping the foot flexed. And then we're going to come out of this. We're going to put the foot back down. We're going back into our hip flexor stretch on the same side. Roll your shoulders, tuck your tailbone, ease gently forwards. And once you've found that stretch, you can either stay here, or if you want to intensify, keep tucking your tailbone. The side you're stretching, you're going to take this hand up towards the ceiling, and we're going to look at that hand. We're going to engage the core. Other hand goes to the knee for a bit of support. Nice deep breath in. And we're going to breathe out as we reach back. But keep tucking your tailbone. We want to feel this in the hip flexors more than the back. Reach and breathe. 4 deep breaths. Keeping the core engaged. And we're going to release. Re-straighten the front leg. Heel down, toes up. Either hinge, feeling that stretch down the back of the legs, or bring your hands to the floor and just breathe. You can push your bum back a little bit if you want to intensify. Could be hands to the floor. You can keep them on the hips if you prefer, but keep those toes pointed. Feel that stretch. Just find the point that works for you. 4 deep breaths. And then we're going to release here. And we're going to swap those legs over. Take it to the other side. Roll your shoulders. Make yourself tall. Tuck your tailbone. Feel that stretch through your hip flexors. Squeeze your glutes. Gently ease forward and hold here. 4 deep breaths as you just relax forward. Keep tucking the tailbone, keep squeezing the glute at the side you're stretching, just easing forward into that. Once you've done those 4 breaths, just release. So I'm just going to spin around and we're going to straighten that front leg, toes point up towards the ceiling. Leg nice and straight. You can put your hands on your hips if you want to and just hinge. Have 4 nice deep breaths. If you want to go further, you can bring the hands to the floor or push your bum back a little bit as well. That's a good option to intensify it. If you want that intensity, just keeping those toes up towards the ceiling. Breathe. Those 4 deep breaths. Stretching hamstrings and calves a little bit here. And then we'll release. We're back into our kneeling position. Roll your shoulders, hands on hips. Tuck your tailbone to start the stretch. Feel that stretch in the hip flexors. Squeeze your glutes. Gently ease forward into that until you feel that intensify. When you get to that point, if you want to take it further, the side you're stretching, that hand goes up towards the ceiling. Switch on your core. The left hand can come to your knee for a bit of support. Look at that hand above. Nice deep breath in. We breathe out as we reach back. Keep the core engaged. Keep tucking your tailbone. Keep that 4 nice deep breaths. Just go as far as you're comfortable. This is more about psoas and hip flexors than it is about the back. And we release after 4 breaths. Leg lengthens, heel down, toes up, hinge, or bring the hands to the floor, or push your bum back a bit. 4 deep breaths. And we release there. And there you go, guys. That little routine will really help loosen up around your hips, into the quads a little bit, but mainly into those hip flexors, glutes, hamstrings, back a little bit, opening up through the back and the spine. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully it's useful. If you've got any questions, please feel free to give me a shout. russ@pilatesguy.co.uk or go to the website www.pilatesguy.co.uk. But thanks for watching. Hopefully speak to you again soon.